Hello, hi, Sarah from The Oncoming. I was going to say you look unrecognisable. That's obviously quite an obvious thing to say. I mean, when you first sort of like had this project on the horizon, did you have any idea what you're really letting yourself in for? Whether it was the language, the prosthetics, how physically demanding it might be?
I'll be honest, no. I think I had a somewhat idea. I knew the challenges that come with playing a predator. You know, I saw interviews of previous actors saying it's just hard being in a prosthetic suit. But I think everything on top of it, I wasn't really ready for. But I think a lot of my mentality in general is just say yes and learn on the way. And yeah, there was a lot of just learning on the way and working closely with Dan and having that relationship with Elle. I guess it just made it all a little bit easier. And the crew back in New Zealand, you know, they really helped with keeping the morale up and pushing it forward. And now we have a really good product that we're happy with and we're really happy to share.
And it's like, obviously there's been so many iterations. I mean, some people might know, the original 80s movie with Arnie. There's been, Alien versus Predator, Prey. This feels like it shares a lot of that DNA, but it's quite its own thing. Even the tone, there's this kind of humorous, dry humor, running through it. So what was exciting about that? Were you always a fan of the franchise?
Yeah, I was a fan of the franchise. My old man was loved the first Predator film with Arnie, so yeah, we would see it growing up, and I was terrified of it, to be honest. So yeah, this whole new take, I think that's what's so awesome about Dan, is that he just breathed such a new life into the franchise. The movies they all had the same kind of premise, for a long time, and what Dan was able to do with Prey, what he was able to do with Killer of Killers, and then what he did with Badlands, making the Predator protagonist. I didn't think a lot of people would have thought that was possible, to be able to root for a Yautja, root for this alien, but he's very story driven, which is what drew me to the job, was that he wasn't just taking the character and trying to just mash them together and just make a big thing out of it. He was actually interested in the story. He was interested in what the fans wanted, and he's a big fan himself, so it's really cool what we were able to do.
And finally, Elle Fanning. I would never expect to see her in a movie like this, and she's just so brilliant, and she definitely has those comedic beats right on. What is it like working not just alongside of her, literally, a version of her on your back?
It was awesome. She's such a versatile actor, like you said, seeing her in a sci-fi is kind of surreal, but she's built for that. She's one of those actresses that can kind of cross genres and do a little bit of everything and be brilliant in it, and was kind of just soaking up so much game from her. She's been in the industry for so long and still has a really good heart, which is something that I really admire about her, and I'm just really happy I got to work with her and spend all our time back to back carrying her on my shoulders.
I'm going to let you go. Huge congrats on this movie. Really enjoyed this moment and tonight. Really amazing. Thanks so much.